welcome back to my channel. I'm Emerald the Quilter, and today I have a bonus project for you. I've been making all of the quilts from the Perfect 5 Quilts book by It's So Emma, and the quilt behind me is the Chocolate Chip Quilt, and I had some leftovers from this quilt, or cutaways. I did not toss them. They were big enough to do something with, and I want to show you what I came up with. So let's get started. So here's the stack I've been saving for this bonus project. These little strips have not been altered in any way after cutting them out to make the chocolate chip quilt blocks in my last video. So if you haven't seen that one, make sure you check it out. And if I counted these correctly, I should have 72. Hopefully, because I went on to EQ8, and with the limited amount of extra fabric from the background that I had, and I did not include these two little pieces, I had an image, like a design idea in my head, and I would normally just take off and start cutting, but that doesn't really work for, creating a YouTube video. It's like, well, I have to make sure I'm gonna have enough. And so I put my idea onto EQ8. And so I was so excited to save up and buy it. And it's been wonderful to play in. And this is my idea. So I will show you how to take your strips. And it's fairly simple, but that is okay if you are a beginner, because I'm gonna walk you through it from start to finish, and we're gonna make this quilt top. So this is gonna be a nice, long, decorative pillow that will match our chocolate chip quilt, and this is what it looks like. So it'll have all of the same fabrics, and we are just going to take all of these little pieces, and I had half a yard. So you technically need 3/8, but if you have half a yard like I do, you should be just fine. And remember, this is decorative, so if we mess up, we just leave some strips out, we make the borders thinner, and voila, you have a beautiful decorative pillow. So what I'm going to do is take these strips, and I'm going to try to sew them mixed up. So let me zoom you in a little bit more. If you see when I place these two here together, they're the same print, different colors, right? Well, I'm gonna sew these two together instead. And then I will sew these two together. And I'm not going to pay attention too much to where I am sewing everything, because I'll have pairs. And then I'll take these pairs and I'll sew them together, trying to keep my colors and then my patterns and motifs separate, and then I'll be able to rotate them, right? So we're gonna get the sewing machine set up, and I will bring my camera over there with all these little pieces, and we'll get started. The easiest thing to do is to lay them out by color. I don't recommend laying them out by motif, specifically because within this line that I'm using, the motifs can be kind of small, and I think it's just too much. It would be easier for me to work with color than the fabric type. So I am going to not try and think about it too much, like I said, but these are different. I guess these are like more dense, and then these are like larger prints, and I didn't even realize I was doing that, because that just happens sometimes when you are in the middle of designing, right? That's part of the design process. So you follow your gut, try not to overthink things, and I'm just gonna stop here because I wanna show you how I'm going to be sewing. And I have my stitch length set to 1.85. I love so much that my Bernina can let me pick a specific stitch length. And I'm going to begin. So I'm just making pairs. And I'll try to mix up the colors too, and you know, I'm working out of the blacks, but let me pick some different ones, and there's no rhyme or reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, okay guys? So I'm just like really just looking at two pieces of fabric and do I like them or do I not? Would this one go with something better, or, you know, that's what I'm doing, okay? So here we go, and I do have to keep in mind, actually, now that I'm looking at that stack, is I think that I have more reds and blacks than anything else. So before I go any further and make it difficult for myself at the end, let me see which colors I have the most of. So here's some green, and I know I separated the whites, but I do still want to keep them kind of separate because they're different enough for me. And lots of green, okay. Lots of black. All of these appear to be black right here. So now these are higher in quantity. Nope, now it's the greens. And then of course I love these shades of like aqua or blue. Really need to learn the name of my colors. And you know, sometimes just colors read differently when they're next to other colors or they're borderlines. So I don't know. I am not a very aware of all the names of the colors. So this is black, and I don't know why I put it in green. And okay, so now as I'm working, I need to keep in mind that I should have several reds and blacks together. I should have, after that, several of these red and blacks with the greens. That's just going to be the best decision that I can make so that I don't end up with like two greens touching, okay? So, or two blacks or two reds touching. I want my colors to be separated. So I'm going to make a few of these back to back, just as a reminder, and I, you know, save myself in the future. My future self will thank me for having made this decision. And so now with some green, and I'm picking two fabrics that are different, also different in density. And I'm just gonna keep going until I feel good about it. I'm not going to run all of them down, but you see how this is different in size? Can you see those edges there? I'm not even gonna do anything to them. Remember, this is a bonus project. This is just for fun, okay guys? It's just for fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the edge of the red fabric to mark where my 1/4 inch is going to begin, and that little negative space from that upper fabric is just going to get hidden inside the seam. So I'm not trimming anything down to perfection here, okay? And let's see, here we go. Here's another one that looks nice together. So this is going to be the snowflake and these holly berries. Now, I know it has been quite a while since I've made a video, and that seems to be happening to me. I am doing really well, keeping up with it, and then not so much. So here's what's been going on. It's the end of the school year, right? And in the end of the school year, there's a lot of exams, and there's a lot of events that come with working at an elementary school because I'm a school teacher. And so these end of the year activities and stressors, and yes, I love my job, but it's still, you know, it can be a little stressful, has taken up a lot of my time. And not only that, my son and I have spent a lot of time together going out now that the weather has cleared, and I'll share some stories with you about that. And then, of course, Mother's Day just passed, and I desperately needed to finish my grandmother's quilt. So I don't remember if I've shared or not that my mom and I started working on my grandma's quilt back in November when I visited her and my dad in Kansas. And when we'd get together, we would work on that. And we made that quilt larger than the original pattern, because we wanted it to go on her bed. So we added some borders, like 6.5-inch borders, and it came out beautiful, got it quilted, and I needed to rush to get the binding done. And so that was, for a while, the only thing that I was working on. And, you know, that took up a lot of time. So I've just had to, you know, concentrate my time in certain areas of my life. So that's why I have not been able to get as many videos out as I would like to. So there you have it. But let's talk about the weather here in Texas. So today that I'm filming, it is May 17th, May 18th. I know it's May 18th because it is my sister's birthday today, and I am meeting up later for birthday party. So, and it's also her son's birthday. Well, her son's birthday was yesterday, so it's like a double birthday party. So I won't be finishing this video today. See, I have a lot going on. And I forgot where I was going with this, but, oh, the weather. So today is May 18th. And it is partly cloudy today, and it is not too hot. However, on Friday morning, so that would be, no, Thursday evening, yes, Thursday evening, we had a storm that I think I heard on the news was later classified as the equivalent to a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. And it was so bad, especially downtown, that some of the buildings downtown, the windows were broken, and the offices inside the buildings were just exposed, and there was shattered glass on the road. And so the weather has been up and down a lot. It has been up and down. And when I took my son out for ice cream and we went on a date, I had a coupon to Texas Roadhouse, we got stuck in the rain on the way back. So we were out in Richmond, and Richmond has 59, so it's a highway that goes over the Brazos River, which is notorious for flooding. And so when we went out, this rain came out of nowhere. And of course my son was just having a blast. He's like, it's raining? No walk? No, we can't go for a walk when it's raining, because he loves to go for walks. And mind you, he had just had the time of his life at Baskin-Robbins, eating a face full of ice cream and his first time to eat a hamburger at Texas Roadhouse. So yeah, he was just having a ball in this rain while I'm staying focused. And it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was not too bad. I think what is a little bit scarier about driving in a storm, especially one that comes out of nowhere, is that there are some people that don't realize that the water accumulates on certain areas of the road. So what I've noticed is that puddles, or like just larger bodies of water, form on the right side of the road. I don't know what it is with the right side of the road. Maybe it's an engineering decision, but there's always just deeper areas of water on the right. And some people don't realize that, and they just drive straight through it. And it's causing waves to splash that are, and so I have a CRV, and my car was just splashed entirely. Like, the height of these waves were so tall that they completely covered my car, and it took moments for the water to fall off of my car. But we drove safely, okay? It was fine. We made it home just fine. And of course, by the time we got home, it was sprinkling. But the weather here in the Houston area has been nuts. We go from the 90s down to the 70s, and just, so when the weather is just right, and and especially if it's on the weekend, I'm like, okay, today's the day we have to go out, and we have to take advantage of the beautiful weather, because the weather just changes so rapidly here, and it can be really bad. Just really bad. Like, I think there's a current flood warning for the Brazos River, that it's overcapacity or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but there's certain areas that need to be or should be avoided. So yeah, the weather's been crazy. And we went out last weekend to this water park. It's not new, but it was new for us. I've never been. It was called Big Rivers Water Park, and it was so much fun. They have a splash pad called Pollywag Splash Pad or something like that, where it's the largest splash pad I've ever visited, and it's just for little ones. And my son loved it, and he saw kids. He was like, big kids? Like, yeah, go play with the big kids. I mean, they weren't all big kids. Like, if they're taller than him, he says that they're a big kid, no matter how much older they are. And then if they're his size or smaller, he says, baby. It's like, yeah, go play with the baby. So he had a lot of fun playing with other kids, and he just loves to play chase. And that's where we spent most of our time, at the splash pad. And when we got there like shortly after they opened, and at that time in the morning, I guess not all of their employees were there yet. So when we went on the slides that were near the splash pad, the employee was just like, yeah, you can go. And so we went, and these were like really short slides. There were like 5 different colors: yellow, orange, green, blue, and purple, I think. And they had a little bit of water like shooting down them into a shallow pool. And they had a lifeguard. And so we went together, and he was so excited. He would just go, he's sitting in my lap, in between my legs, and he had just so much fun going down the slide. I would have to like try and keep up with him so that we could wallow our way out of the shallow pool, and then he'd run back into the line. I'm like, walk! You have to walk and keep up with him. And after we had taken a break and gone back, there was another employee there with like a measuring stick of some kind that had red on the bottom and blue on the top, and he was too short. He was crying. It's like we had just been on. I like lifted his hair to try to see if we could just add another inch or two, and she's like, no, he's too short. He can't get on. That was a bummer. And yeah, so my son was upset because that happened. And the crazy thing is that this person directed us to the kids like water playground thing that had a slide, that had 2 slides, but okay. It just did not make any sense because, hold on, am I gonna run out? Here I am at the end. Look what's happening. Okay, no, I did not run out. There we go. All right. So this like water playground area had crazy amounts of water splashing and being tossed, and like waterfall buckets, and the slides on this water playground were at a high speed. And so how can my 2-year-old go on this playground where there are kids of all ages running up and down with no active lifeguard at the edge of each slide? There's just one monitoring the entire playground area, and it's huge, and it's slippery to climb on top of. You know, it just doesn't make any sense, because the slides that we were on that were by the splash pad, it was a slow amount of water, and there was a line, and so only a few people could go in at a time, and only one person could go down at a time at the slide. But the children's play area was a free-for-all. Like, the slides, the shorter slides, the 5 that were together, that was the safer option, okay? So that's what I'm saying. It just did not make any sense, and they need to reconsider that. So, and there was a lot of other parents that were complaining too, where their little ones had got on those slides and then they weren't allowed to anymore, and there was some crying kids, but you know, whatever. He had fun. He let me know when he was hungry, and so he picked out his food. They had really good food. So they had food trucks, and they had nachos and quesadillas and chicken strips and pizza, and you know, just all kinds of fun things. Food is not allowed, and so we weren't able to bring anything in the park, but we did have what we wanted to bring in the car in a cooler, just waiting for us for the trip back home. And he picked out his food because they had pictures, and that was awesome. Like, every place needs pictures of every item on the menu, okay? So my kid can actually pick out what he wants to eat, and then more likely to eat it. I say more likely because that does not always mean that he will eat it. So if you have a toddler, you know this to be true. And I'm not even gonna press these open. I think I'm just gonna not worry about that right now. And I'm going to try and look for like things that are like red and green and put them together. Like this. Looks pretty good to me right here. And so as I'm deciding, I want to keep my red, greens, and blacks together as much as possible, because I know that's where I'm going to run into problems. Okay, so that was my little quick announcement. And so he picked out the cheese quesadilla and the nachos for mommy, and he ate most of his quesadillas, and he ate some of my nachos, and then he saw pictures of popcorn and Dippin' Dots. So we went and got popcorn first, and then we had Dippin' Dots, and he wanted the blue one. What flavor? Blue. Okay, so we got the blue one, and he ate almost all his food. We went onto the lazy river, and it was just so much fun. And so it was like the perfect weather, because it wasn't too hot, it was kind of cloudy, it wasn't cold. Towards the end, it did get a little windy, and so he's like, oh, then it's like good, because I had been trying to say, okay, it's time to go, we got to go see the animals. So they have this dry section of the park. They call it the wet area and the dry area, and they have like a petting zoo with goats and one sheep, and then they have a baby alligator, and then this other exhibit with like 2 alligators in it that's caged off with like I forget, some kind of mixed fence, but they have viewing windows for short people. And so he was able to see that, and he loved it. He loved it. He had so much fun. Once we got to that area, he didn't want to leave because they had a playground and a moonwalk, which he didn't like as much. And you just like walk along this fishing area. Of course, he was like too little to go fishing, but there were actually people who rented, or maybe they brought their own equipment, I'm not sure, but they were like in the fishing area. And it was just really beautiful and really relaxing. It was a nice way to end our day, because that was like the last hour or two of our trip. And he let me know, all done, like he's ready to go home, okay. So we went home and we ate in the car before we actually took off, and he had a fantastic day. He really did, my little guy. And I know that he won't remember our trip to Big Rivers Water Park, but I know that he will remember being happy. And I know he will remember that he can pick out his own food and that he can tell me where he wants to go. So the emotion, is going to have an impact on him and just make him a happier child than he already is. So I just want to bring him as many experiences, fun, especially during the summer experiences, as possible. So yeah, that was our trip. I had a lot of fun too. He had his little floaty, and he held on to me like a koala bear. He has turned into a koala bear lately. He just won't let go of me, even at home. And, those are like, I think these are too close. I don't know. What do you guys think? And this is the fun part, guys. This is the fun part. These are different enough right here. Okay. No, I don't like that. Let me see. How about that? No, I don't like that either. Should have done more red and black. Here's your red and black. That looks good. Okay. Or red and green. Black and green. I want a black and green. I'm being too picky. That's black and green, but I think that's where it was. Oh, here we go. I'm going to have to move this on this side, though. Like this. So I can get these little berries separated. Okay, there we go. That took a minute. And took us like an hour drive to get back home. But it's been, a week, and he's like, water park? You can go to the water park? Water park tomorrow. I was like, okay, well, we can go. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but, we can go back to the water park. So he, at least for now, he remembers, and it's making a lasting impact on him. It's like imprinting on him. So yeah, that was a fun trip that we went to. And I'm actually going to have to pause this project for a little while because I have to get ready and go to my sister/nephew's birthday party. And my nephew, he's turning 1, and he's so cute. He is so adorable. Every time I see him, I just touch his little cheeks and go, cheeky cheeks. So cute. And so I gave him some of my son's cars. My son did not want to give them up. Well, at first he did. He's like, for, and he said his name. It's like, yes, it's for him. And so we, bagged him up, and he helped me put the tissue in the gift bag. And we gave him his gift earlier because we went out to eat, and we knew we'd get a free birthday cake if we said it was for his birthday. And so he did, and we sang happy birthday. And This was like 2 weeks ago. So my nephew has been celebrating his birthday for quite a while now. And then he took the cars out while we were at the restaurant. He played with them. He did not want his nephew, his cousin, to have them. And so that was funny. But, you know, eventually we had to go and we let him have them. So there's that. But he's adorable. And I can't wait to see him. Okay. So I like this combination right here. And it is getting more difficult for me to pick these colors, right? And I kind of warned you that that was going to happen, which is why I had to make sure that I had separated my colors in a way by quantity. So I tried to keep the ones that I had the most of together as much as possible, which I still need to continue doing. So let's see this one. This looks good right here. And let me just make sure that there's not a better option. Like, I think this is a better option than this one. Okay. Or maybe I should just go with my original pick. No, I don't want to go with my original pick. Watch me regret it later. But you could, if you wanted to, lay them all out in a big train and then take a picture and remember where you wanted them to go. But no, you'd spend a lot of time doing that. But then I guess you technically would save time later because you wouldn't have to, you know, fight as I'm fighting now with my fabrics. So of course, it's up to you on how you want to get that done. Is that okay? I think that's okay. I think this is okay. And I think I'm going to stop right here, and I will be back. You won't even notice. And just like that, I am back. See, you didn't even know I was gone. My nephew is getting so big. He's so cute. He had his own little smash cake, and it's this new thing where you get 2 cakes, one for the baby and one for everyone else. And the idea is that they get their first taste of cake and they're supposed to like stuff their face into the cake or whatever. And so he had cake before, so he liked it, made a mess of himself, and just was all adorable. But it was nice. It was at the park, and of course it was a little hot, but it's such a joy to see him grow up. And I've got, it looks like about less than 10 of these strips. And I'm just trying to see, okay, where is everything gonna go? I seem to have a lot of these that have black on them. And I wanna get it all spaced out. See, these are 2 of the same prints. That would be too close together. So, you know, just trying to see what is gonna go where. If it doesn't go here right now, I'll be able to find something for it somewhere. Okay. Maybe this one. This one looks really good, actually. So I think that is what I'm gonna do right here. And now, I did not come up with the dimensions for this design that I came up with, because it's just something that I designed specifically for the pieces. So I just wanted to accommodate how many pieces, how much fabric I had left over from the chocolate chip quilt. And instead of experimenting and trying to figure out as I'm cutting fabric if I'm going to have enough, using EQ8 was really fun to just verify that I thought I was going to have enough, and oh my gosh, I am. So that's what I use that for, and learning how to use it has been a task. So writing your own patterns is something on top of quilt design or pattern design. EQ8 doesn't write the instructions for you. It gives you like simple diagrams, and only for each block. I can't design a quilt and say, okay, print all the diagrams for the entire quilt. It doesn't do that. It's only by block. So there's a lot of work that goes into pattern instructions, and with something like this, even though I'm not providing you a pattern, just know that you can include any thinness of the strips as you would like. You can make them scrappy or make your own fabric out of strips and then cut them. They don't even have to be really parallel. They could be like crazy quilt style, right? And the size I am going to use in between the two strips and the borders are 2.5 inches. So they'll finish at 2 inches. So there is that. But it's just going to be a fun little project, and feel free to, of course, make it your own. I won't be offended at all. I think we should all share the magic of art. Art is meant to be shared and cherished. So there you have it. Okay, I am coming down to the last few. And I just need to make sure that in the end I have an equal amount. So I should have 36 altogether in one and 36 in the other. And I just want to press these open to see what I have. And all of these are pretty much like red and black. I've kind of used up all the other colors, and they won't be able to go together, doesn't look like. So I'm gonna have to chop them up into something. Well, not really chop them up. What I mean to say is, hold on, I can't think. What I'm gonna have to do is wait and see where I want to put them so I can mix them with the other pieces. See, I don't like that. I don't like this either. What about this one? I don't like that either. Well, this one is okay. That's okay. So I have that one. And I'm gonna snip these out now and just start adding. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I should be okay because I have an even amount. I can only do so much math up ahead, and if I have to rip something out, I will. So let's take a look at these pieces. Once it's time for me to press them, it's not going to matter which way I press them, even if some are going left, some are going right, because there will be no intersecting seams, since it's essentially just a large sashing, or just a border. But here's what the unit is looking like so far. And I'm gonna try and take these that didn't have any buddies to go with them and set those in first. Okay, so like this one clearly needs a green, right? And I had a green, And I probably moved them and lost them, but is that it? No. So I lost my little green guy, or maybe I think actually I just used him. So let's set this aside. And let's see, this one needs white. I think I also used the one with white, so can't do that unless I'm going to add black onto this side, but there's a snowflake and I don't want another snowflake touching it. So I'm gonna grab another one of these pieces here and then see what I have. These are all, there's just not a whole lot of variety. Okay, here we go. I have 4 colors and definitely need to add some black. I think, which one is gonna look good? Probably with like a medium-sized motif, or this one look good. I like that. Okay, I'll do that one. Nothing is too close together. And I'm anticipating running out of thread here, so just FYI, I've been on this bobbin for quite a while. Okay, this has no green. That definitely needs some green, which I don't have right now. Here we are with some green. Definitely want some red. That would look good. I'm gonna do this one. And also, just FYI, I don't even know if a pillow form exists in the size that I'm making this, which is 16 by 40 finished, I believe. So if one does not exist, like on Amazon, I'm gonna have to buy it myself, or excuse me, make it myself, or buy it somewhere special, which I'm sure it's just cheaper for me to make it myself. So just wanted to let you guys know that. You could look to see what pillow forms you have already in your home and then adjust the height and width of this pattern design to accommodate your own pillow form. Okay, so this one would be actually really cute right here. Well, these are kind of close. They're a little bit too similar. So let me pick something else. This looks good right there. Okay, do that one. And I've got just 2 more of these little guys that need some friends. This looks good. And where am I going to place this one? Probably here. I think so. Okay, that looks good. And at this point, I'm just gonna lay these open to see what I have. And again, just making sure that no two colors are matching and no two of the same motifs are too close. We might see that, oh, they're like 2 or 3 apart. As long as they're not with one strip in between, I think that's gonna have to work. So just remember that. Like this looks good to me right here, or this way. I think this way. And as I'm sewing, I always match up my corners and my edges. I'm not being super careful with this one because I'm just gonna, you know, lay it in between a sashing area. Let me see which one's gonna look good. I think this one, no, this one's gonna look the best right here. Right there. Ooh, this looks really good right here. I like that. I kind of like this too, but these two are too close. You see, decisions, decisions. That is too close again. So where are they gonna go? Like this, or like this, or like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave those out. I have 4, and because I can't decide, and I'm gonna snip these guys. And this is how long they are now. You can see they are growing quite nicely, and I'm gonna lay all of them out. So maybe instead of seeing part of the sewing machine, you see more of what's in front of me. So move the camera, and then let's see here. Now they're not all the same size, so I should also separate. Like these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of them I think should be 8, right? That one's 4, this one's 4. This one needs to come out. Okay, so I have only one that is 8. Okay. So now I'm going to probably grab these blues, which there are 3 strips of blues, and try to separate them. Like this one, I know it needs white. I think white would look really good right here. Would also look really good right here. I think that's actually even better. And I am sewing my strips that have 4 to the strips that have 6 on them. And I'm not touching the ones that have 8 at the moment because I don't want to end up with like an uneven amount since I have 2 rows of strips. So now I have to see, well, which one is going to look good with this here. I think that one looks good right there. It's a little bit messy. That one's too much snowflakes going on. Too much red. Whoops, that was my scissors. I think this one's gonna have to work. about that one? Looks kind of okay. I think it's kind of, this looks better to me. Oh no, well there's one red one right there. That's another red one. I think I'm gonna go with this right here. Okay. And I have 2 more, and then 3 of these. I don't know how that happened. I may have messed up somewhere. So I'm gonna pause working with those. And I'm gonna lay these out just like that. And at this point, it's like time for me to really just lay everything out. Because the less I have to take apart, the better. All right. Let me get my 2 rows going. Might as well just move this out of the way. Okay, here's one. Here's the other. Well, no, those aren't the same. This is the long one. Is this the long one? This is the long one. Here we are. Okay. And so there's one. Now I want to add some black. Okay, that looks kind of okay. And some green. And some this is another long one. Some black. Nope. Then there's green. This is going to take me a minute. That would double up. What about this one? Okay, that looks good. And then I could put this green here. That looks good. Could put this red one here. No, this red one. And this black one would look good there. And then I'm just left with these. So I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And then 1, so this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. All right. So I'm left with 30 here and 28 here, and I needed 36, which I'm thinking that I miscounted to begin with at this point. So that just does not make any sense to me at all. And what I'm wanting to add, I'm gonna have to recount again and make sure that I have everything. And this is what I do in real life, so I know if you're tired of hearing me count, I do count often, so want to make sure everything is just right. And so let me go ahead and do that again. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. Okay, so I'll probably have to take off these 2. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. Yep, I have to take out 2. So I'm going to take out these 2 right here, just these that are at the end. Yay, and I only had to rip out one time. That's all I had to rip out. I'm gonna find a place for these. So this one is gonna go, it's gonna go, I think this is the best place for it. Right there. That's just where it's gonna go, okay? So that's it. I am done. I need to take a picture of this with my phone, and then I will just go back and forth, making sure that I have everything where it needs to be. I'm taking a picture right now so I don't, stand up because this is quite long, mess up. All right, I've got my picture to work with. Right there. And now it's time for me to finish. Yay. So this is what I meant when I said earlier that you could just lay everything out in the beginning, because you could potentially save yourself some time doing what I just did, or not having to do what I just did. But because I'm not being overly picky, you know, it didn't really take too long. So I got the very best Mother's Day gift. Now, my son, he doesn't really know what Mother's Day is, at least not yet. But I still got the very best gift because on Mother's Day morning, hold on, I'm just looking to see that these are correct. This one should be, it's like red, or is it this way? Yep, it's this one. It just kind of looked hidden. This blue piece was covering this black piece, so that's why I was confused. Okay, so Mother's Day morning, I got the very best gift. My son, he's learning to speak a lot, and he ran up to me and jumped on top of me like, pulled so hard, and he said, "I need mommy," or "I need mama," and I was just like, aw, it made my heart melt, because he's never put that combination of words together before. And I called my mom, and she's like, yeah, he's gonna start saying lots of things for the first time now, and it was just so wonderful that he said that, and the manner that he did just really made my day. I love his hugs. But for Mother's Day, what I wanted was a squeaky clean house. So my son and I, yes, my 2-year-old, we cleaned. So he had his play broom, and I had my broom, and he had his play vacuum, and I had my vacuum. And look at this strip. Isn't this awesome? It is so long. Yay. This is how long the decorative pillow is going to be. It's going to be like one that you just want to snuggle on top of. Okay, so we, of course, like vacuumed and mopped and put toys away, and I just was like, clean house makes mommy happy. And so he was like very intent on helping me clean and helping me put his toys away. And we got a candle going at the end, and he was like that it was his birthday because there was a candle. And it was just very nice to come home after our Mother's Day get together as a family to a squeaky clean house. And he does keep me company while I do all of that. Who knows how long I'll be able to keep it up with, but as long as I can keep doing it, I will. So he knows that the laundry baskets need to be condensed and rolled over to the laundry room, and he knows that the clothes in the dirty basket need to go into the washer, and he'll say like up for me to pick him up and start the washing machine. So he'll say normal, eco warm, because our system has an eco warm option for the water temperature. And he'll press the start button. He loves to do that. And he helps me move the clothes from the washer into the dryer, and then the dryer into the basket, and trying to get him to like realize that I can't fold clothes as fast as he can give them to me. So because he's just like, here mama, and he puts all of them in my lap. I'm like, okay, hold on, I can't keep up with you. So yeah, I try to involve him as much as I can. All right, so let's see, what is going at the end? This one goes at the end, and this one does go to that one, and this one does go to this one. Okay, looks good. I am just making sure I do not make any mistakes at all. So I hope you all who are watching had a lovely Mother's Day. For those of you who serve as mother-like figures and are awesome aunties and all of that, being a part of a child's life, mentoring children is all very special and important. And so I wish you all a belated Mother's Day. All right, so I am done with my 2 sets of strips. This is very exciting because now I get to press them flat and bring them back to you and show you the sashing piece that's going to go in between. So I have to cut that up for you, and it's just going to be 2 inches wide, and then I'll probably make it just a little bit longer than what these are. This should lay out, I think, approximately 36.5 inches long. So we'll see how that worked out, right? And I'll be back. Okay, friends, here are my strips pressed down nice and flat. I press them all in one direction. It does not matter which way you press them down, but I have both of them ready to go. And my sashing slash borders are cut to 2.5 inches. And what I'm going to do is just sew them end to end, because I already know that they are not necessarily long enough, or let me just double check. Well, this one is, I don't have to. Yeah, so let me just, I'm not even going to sew them end to end. I'm just going to pin, and I'm going to start here at this end and just add a few pins every few strips. just enough so that it doesn't get wavy on me. And I'll be sure to trim this piece off here at the end. Okay. And I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do for the back of this pillow yet. That's going to have to wait until this pillow top and the actual chocolate chip quilt top are quilted, so that I can see how much fabric I have left over from the backing and the binding. Because if I don't have enough, then of course I'm gonna wanna buy more since, you know, this is part of the fabric from that project, and I am gonna wanna use this in my home and decorate with it. So I don't mind buying, you know, another 1.5 yards, just so that everything can be the same. And now I'm going to press this way, and I know you normally don't press towards the light, but in this case it's creamy and thick enough that it's not really going to shine through. There isn't a whole lot of red and black peeking out, and really I think it's just going to be fine. If you wanted to, you could press towards this way, but it's not a big deal to me. And I'm going to take this right now to the iron and then come back with this edge cut. I've got this edge cut down nice and flat, and this time I'm going to add even fewer pins because I'm going to hold this top with the seams up for no reason, just because. Going to kind of wave it in front of me to make sure it's centered properly and that there isn't too much fabric on one side versus the other. And really what I should have done is pinned on the opposite section, because there's absolutely no reason for pinning from this side, especially since my seams are facing towards me when I'm sewing. So just note to yourself. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. I have less seams because I am a little bit more confident now. Not less seams, but less pins. And I just make sure that my edges line up as I'm going. And you know, if I can find a pillow form, at least on Amazon, I'll share it in the description box below, so that you can get the same one that I get if you'd like. anytime you use just the link, so you don't not necessarily even have to purchase any of the products that I share from my Amazon affiliate links. If you just use the link in general, it gives me literally pennies, just the tiniest commission, but there have been some people that have used them, and so just thank you so much for using my affiliate links. It doesn't add any upcharge to what you pay at all. I get paid directly from Amazon. All right, so now I can press this seam, and then I'm going to add the borders first to my sides. And then I'll show you what it looks like with the sashing in between both rows. Now this has been pressed, and it's looking like it could be a beautiful dining table runner, or if you have a large coffee table in your living room, this would look really great too. So you have options, and I love options. So at this point, we're going to add the borders onto the sides. If you're short on fabric, you could add the borders to the top, because then you wouldn't have to sew any seams. So you have that option, but I like the way it looks on the side. And I brought my large scissors over because I'm just going to cut this right here. And then sew the other side just like this. And I'm gonna leave this one going a little bit over since I cut it with scissors and it's not 100% exact. I'll fix that at the cutting table. But sometimes, you know, if I don't have to get up, I will do what I can without having to get up between every single step of the quilting process. Where are my scissors? Here they are, okay. And now I'm going to trim this piece off right here. Press at the iron, and then I'll be back. Now I've got the sides pressed down, and I went ahead and pinned off camera, but you can see kind of how it's gonna look once it's all pressed. I have both sides ready to go, and because the seams are facing away from me, I'm going to press with the seams facing up so that they're coming towards me. right, let's see what we've got. Beautiful. These need a good press. Oh my goodness. And I can't wait to show this to you up close on the table. So I will see you over there. Okay guys, here is my little quilt top and it's so fancy. And I did look up and found on Amazon that there are pillow forms and just pillows in general that are pretty common. They are 16 by 40 inches and they were like, okay, $28 I think was one of the cheaper ones. Like I can do that. But now I'm torn because I went downstairs and this fits on my table. And because it's like so fancy, I think it's metallic, that I don't know if I want it to be a pillow anymore. It's just so pretty. So what do you guys think I should do? Should I turn this into a decorative pillow like I originally intended? Or should I just leave it as a table runner? So vote below and I will do whatever wins the most. So thank you so much for watching my tutorial and entertaining my first design ever on EQ8. So maybe I'll come out with more cute little things like this. And just remember to give me a thumbs up, comment below, subscribe, and please share my videos with others so that more people can find my content, especially those who would possibly love to learn how to quilt. I feel like I do a pretty good job of going into all of the details. So thank you so much. And next time we see each other, we will be making the oatmeal raisin quilt. And I have some of this cut up and ready to go. So I can't wait to see you then. Bye.